If you were to try to draw this up and explain it to an alien from Mars or a human being today, he'd say you lost your mind. He'd say that's not even a miracle, that's a fairy story. But it goes on. A man went to people who were drunk a lot of the time and said, you know what, give up alcohol. Stop selling it, stop making it, stop carrying it. And some of the hardest core drinkers in the world gave up alcohol. A man came to men who had married an unlimited number of women and gave them no rights whatsoever and said now that paradise lies at the feet, not of your father, but your mother. A man came to people who were among the most racist at their time in the world and said that a guy from Persia is going to give you military advice, or that you should live in Abyssinia around black people. You should live there. Not only should you live there, you should accept the authority of their king. Think about that. Imagine you went to a bunch of people in World War II Germany and said you should have a Jewish leader. See how that would have gone over. Or you should go to Africa and you should have an African leader. But why did he say that? Because that man was a better man than the Arab rulers at the time. These are radical ideas today, in 2012, let alone in 573 AD. The idea that women are truly equal to men in terms of the content of the character, this wasn't accepted in the Western legal system. In many ways, it still isn't 100% accepted in the Western legal system. I'm talking within my lifetime. But what we have done is we have embraced, unwittingly, a cartoon definition of Islam. An Islam that offers no hope. An Islam that offers no destination. An Islam that is rooted in cultural practices that were present in people before 1400 years ago. It's remarkable and astonishing, really. Shameful would be the other word. But the reason that it happens is that the way that Islam got passed forward is not from words on a piece of paper, although those words are powerful. Islam spread. People made these radical changes in their lives. It's a very simple statement. I want to be like him. They looked at people who were Muslims. They saw the honesty with which they behaved. They saw the courage, the simplicity of their character, the love they had for strangers, the love they had for their families. They said, I want that. I want to be like him. They saw people who didn't destroy their minds with alcohol or drugs, which were around 1400 years ago, just as they are today. They said, how can someone go through life so calm and so happy? How can someone treat his family so well? How can someone honor strangers? How can someone be nice even when other people aren't watching? So I want to be like him. You know, I used to read that it was impossible. I actually read in a Western textbook that it was impossible for man to survive without intoxicants for an extended period of time. I looked at my own parents. Never saw them having that problem. And I wanted to be like them, not other people. Islam spread because people said, I want to be like him. And so the dream that would never die acquired reality. It wasn't a dream anymore. We don't want to lie because we've met people who spent their entire lives not lying. And we want to be like them. That's who we want to be like. And so when someone tells us about someone 1400 years ago who didn't lie, it isn't that hard for us to believe that that's true. Because we saw most of it with our own eyes. We believe that people wouldn't cheat people, that people would be honest, that people don't need to be drunk, that people could be kind, that people would sacrifice their entire lives for perfect strangers and their community. Why? Because we see it. Examples of it in front of us. And that's the thing that we have to remember. The hope that is present within Islam, the vision that is present within Islam, the truth of Islam will only become clear if it is clear enough that people would say, I want to be like him. And him is us. And him is us. May God guide us. My brothers, it is the finest honor and the only honor of my life I consider worth anything that I have the chance to speak to you from Friday to Friday. For whatever reason, God has granted me access to wealthy people, politicians, leaders, other things like that, people who are considered important by this society. And I leave them all quite happily to speak to you for 10 to 15 minutes. Because those people will not be witnesses for me on the day of judgment. Those people will not make me a better person than all of you have every time I see you. The honor I do not deserve. The honor that all of us do not deserve is the honor of Islam. There's no reason why we deserve to have the parents that we had, the sheikhs that we had, the love that we've had, and other people are denied those things. You can't, if you sat there your whole night and said, why me as opposed, why do we have food every day? And some poor person in the other parts of the world starves. Why do we have security every day? And some person could be killed by a bomb from the sky. Why did we get schooling and education and clothing and all this? You can never justify it. You can never justify it. Someone better than you and I is being denied those things every day. But what you can do is say, Ya Allah, I am grateful. I'm grateful for your mercy, and I will show my gratitude every minute of every day by being the kind of person that you have said I should be. That is what you can do. And that is what, as a community, as individuals, we have done so in many cases, subhanAllah. But as a community, we have given in to an absence of hope. We have given in to the idea that because our countries are running in a way that we are ashamed of, that they will always be this way. That we need to be ruled by military dictators or ignorant people or corrupt kings or criminals in various disguises. That we need to accept that the foolish will lead the intelligent, that the strong will bully the weak, that all kinds of laws will never be applied or followed. We accept that when we come to this country that clearly we have nothing to offer it other than our own survival and following a few rules, that we shouldn't change it for the better by correcting the mistakes that we make. We look at the unhappiness of our Christian and Jewish and secular brothers and sisters and say, we don't have anything to offer them. Leave them alone. As though our problems are so great that no other human beings might have them. And so we have given in to the greatest cancer that we could have, which is the cancer of denying the vision that is within Islam. Don't let this cancer spread. Kill it. If there's anything you're going to kill or behead, kill the tumor that is within you that says that your life is not more meaningful and so meaningful that only you and God will know why. No man can assess a value to another man's life. If somebody in the middle of the desert can change society for 1,400 years, then what can you do following that man's example to make life better for everybody around you? What can you do? Who can you know? What have you allowed yourself to accept in your life that you should not? Whether it's the money you make, the quality of the relationships that you have, the influence and power that you have in this world. These are not things that you should cede to lesser men. I don't mean lesser by birth, I mean lesser by action. It is not racist or wrong or arrogant or any of those other things to say that when people don't use power and responsibility in the way in which God has shown them, that they are lesser men. Not lesser by birth, but lesser by action. And today we have accepted lesser men in all aspects of our society. We have accepted them in business, we have accepted them in education, we've accepted them in religion, we have accepted them in politics. And if there is any message you should take from this, I say enough. 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 As the Prophet Ibrahim said to those worshipping the idols, these idols can do nothing to help you. They can do nothing to hurt you. And would you persist in following them merely because your fathers did so? I ask you that same question. Would you persist in living your life under the sovereignty of people who do not deserve it, simply because your fathers did so? We ask Allah subhanahu